Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. This is the extended review of the Olight S1 Baton. Alright, here is an Olight S1 Baton in the packaging. You know, I sell a lot of flashlights, I review a lot of flashlights, I talk about flashlights a lot, so I don't get very excited about a lot of flashlights. But when I first saw the prototype from this, the owner of Olight showed it to me, I fell in love with this thing. It's tiny, it's got great output, 500 lumens on max output, 40 hours of runtime on the lowest output, and then 110 meters of beam distance. I say it's tiny, I can't really impress upon you how small it is quite yet, but this thing runs on a CR123 battery, gives you 500 lumens, and it is small. And I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video, it compared to some other small lights that have been really popular. You'll see how small this thing really is, which makes the output and the other specs that much more impressive. I've been carrying one in my pocket as my EDC for about a month now, and I love the thing. The low output I find super useful. When you need it, you've got the high output, and it has a really nice beam on it. And I'm going to show you in a little bit, once we get this thing opened up and we talk about it a little bit more, why it has that nice beam. So we're going to open up the packaging and show you what you get on the inside. You know, I kind of rattled off some specs. As always, you can get the full specs on our site, goinggear.com. And let's open this up, pull it out. It's kind of nice. They label where the accessories are, just in case you're wondering where they are. Here's the user manual. Olight does a really good job on the user manual, so a bunch of good information in there. You've got the ANSI spec table, basic information about it, running on a Cree XML2 LED. It'll take a CR123 or RCR123, and really lightweight, so only 30 grams on this thing without the battery. And then, of course, depending on the battery that you use, is going to be the weight with the battery. And then you have a bunch of languages that the instructions are in. So nice, useful user manual that it has in here. One thing to note is that a lot of people have not realized, and I did not realize when I first opened up this thing, it comes with spare O-rings, and the spare O-rings are what are attaching the light to the packaging. Kind of nice, kind of a little eco-friendly option, just to make it a little bit more environmentally friendly, but try not to rip them off, try not to cut them off. You can just slide them off, and those are your actual spare O-rings. So put them in with your packaging or put them in a drawer with your other spare flashlight parts or something like that. You don't want to toss those to the side. All right, your accessories. Let's open this up and show you the accessories that you get. Since you already have your spare O-rings attached to the packaging, the other thing that you get is a lanyard. And the Olight lanyards are really nice. We actually have a lot of customers. We'll sell these separately. And a lot of customers will buy these separately because they're nice. They're nice and durable. You got that nice strong attachment point, nice soft fabric, and you got this cord lock. I think that's what they're called. You got a cord lock on there that you can attach it to your wrist, or attach it to your bike or pack or something like that, and cinch it up and have a nice attachment point for that. And the attachment point for the lanyard, a lot of people always ask, is this little slot right here. You slide the smaller part of the lanyard in there and attach it on there. Okay, so here is the light itself. Let's take a closer look at this thing, see if we can get all the gunk off the table, and we'll zoom in and if I can figure out how to work my camera. Having trouble tonight. All right, so there is the light. So I said this thing is small. So you have no idea how big my hands are, but a lot of you have probably seen the other flashlights that I reviewed, specifically the S10 and the S10R, because those are two of our most popular lights. You know, the S10 was our most popular light. You can see they have magnetic tail caps, so they're kind of attracted to each other. We'll do it like that. But you can see how small this thing really is. So the S10 and the S10R were already really small. Everybody picks them up. They're like, wow, these things are tiny. They're putting out 400 lumens. That's crazy. Look at how small the S1 is. It's even smaller than the S10 and the S10R. Really, really compact little light. It's really impressive how much they've shrunk this thing down compared to the other two and increased the output. It still has really good performance. So the head is actually a slightly smaller diameter as well. You can see tail caps are pretty much the same size, and the body diameters are pretty much the same size. And then they have that nice deep carry Olight pocket clip. You can pop that off if you want to. One thing that they're doing that's pretty cool, they're doing PVD coating accents on there. So the little bezel around the switch and the bezel around the light, the front of the light, is actually blue PVD coating. So it's a nice durable finish, and it gives it a really cool accent to it. It just looks neat. So you can kind of see down in here, you know, most lights that we sell have a reflector down in there. So you've got the LED in the center. I can get the camera to focus on it. You've got the LED in the center, and then you've got a reflector. So you got this metal reflector, and then you've got a lens on there. That's most of the lights we sell. Well, this one has a TIR optic. So you can kind of see, I can stick my finger down in there. I'm not touching the LED, but I'm touching the inside part of the optic right there. I believe it's made out of acrylic, but you can see not a reflector down in there. So it's just the optic on top of the LED, and it makes for a really cool beam, which you'll see a lot better when we go outside. It's basically something with no hot spot. So it's a nice, smooth, clean, even beam. There's no bright part in the center. It's just all the same light for the whole thing. And again, you'll see that a lot better when we go outside. There's a closer look at the pocket clip. I really like their pocket clips. You can get them nice and deep in your pocket, so it's not sticking out and snagging on things all the time. And you can pop that off again if you want to. It has a magnetic tail cap. I find that super useful. I have Olights all around my house attached to metal lamps. So we have a lot of metal lamps in our house, and I stick them right on there. And you can kind of see we'll attach these two to each other. Not the S10R. I guess those are opposing each other. But you can see magnetic tail cap, so you can stick it to the underside of your car when you're working on something. We'll stick them on the metal shelving at work. There's a lot of places you can stick a light, and it's nice and useful. You don't have to hold it in your hands. You can free up a hand. Don't have to stick it in your mouth and grind metal on your teeth or anything like that. It's a really nice feature, that metal tail, or the magnetic tail cap, and you can remove the magnet if you don't want it in there. Let's actually open it up and show you what the inside looks like. So you can kind of see this spring that's in here. You've got that triangle, and then you can pop that spring out, and you can pop the magnet out if you want to. I find it super useful. A lot of people are like, well, what does it do to cell phones? What does it do to credit cards? There's never really been a whole lot of evidence showing that these kind of batteries are or these kind of magnets affect those kind of things. Maybe if you took it and just rubbed it all day long on a mag stripe, but I've kept magnetic tail cap lights in my pocket with my wallet and a bunch of credit cards, and I've never had a single issue. There you can see down in the battery tube. All right, let's throw a battery in there and show you how it works. All right, we've got an Olight RCR123 or 16340. It's a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. We're going to stick it in there, but we're not going to stick it in there the traditional way where the positive end goes towards the head. It actually goes the other way. So the positive end goes towards the tail cap. So we're going to slide it in there, and you've actually got a reminder on the body showing you positive end goes this way. So we've already had a lot of customers asking us, hey, what's going on? My light's not working. And we're like, well, just turn the battery around, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to put the tail cap back on there and show you the operation of this thing. So it's all controlled by this side switch here, and we've had a lot of people also ask us about accidental activation. You can see I'm pressing on it a decent amount, and you can even kind of roll it on the table and see that it doesn't really activate by itself. People are wondering because it does protrude a little bit more than the switch on the S10R did. So the S10R had that hard plastic switch that was recessed a little bit below the bezel. This one, you still have to press it below the bezel to get it in there. I really like the feel of it. I actually like this the most out of all the switches they've ever done. It's nice and comfortable. It's really easy to activate, and you can see you've got to have a decent positive press on it to get it to actually activate. So we're just going to press all the way down, and you can see that that's what turns it on. All right, so the interface is completely controlled by this side switch right here. Press and hold from off, and it'll go into the lowest output of 0.5 lumens. Really great battery life, really good for up-close stuff. In low light situations, it's nice because it's just enough light for you to see what's right in front of you or what's on the ground in front of you. And again, you get that great battery life. You also have access to the max output. So if you double click from off, it'll go right to the 500 lumens. And one thing to note on the runtime of the 500 lumens, this is something that Olight's been doing on their newer lights that a lot of manufacturers don't really call out, even though their lights do this. So you can kind of see if we can zoom in a little bit or just make it closer so you can see that a little bit better. So on mode 1 on high of the 500 lumens to 300 lumens, it says 1.5 plus 90 minutes. So what that is saying is that it's going to be 500 lumens for 1.5 minutes, and then it's going to drop down to 300 lumens for 90 minutes. Of course, that's when you're going to have it on constant on. You're not turning the light off. Pretty much every light that we sell, especially the smaller lights, they all do that because they're putting out so much light and so much heat they don't want to damage the light, so it drops the output so it can drop the temperature of the light. It's super common for flashlights. Everybody does it, but Olight's nice enough to actually call it out and show you what the run times are and the different outputs instead of just saying it's 500 lumens for 90 minutes. So that's a nice thing that they do that a lot of manufacturers don't do. So the rest of the interface is if you have it turned on, you press and hold, it'll cycle through your other outputs. You also have strobe in there, and the way to get that is to click it 3 times. So we 1, 2, 3, and it'll go into the strobe mode. And then just tap it to turn it back off. All right, the S1 actually has another feature in there that's a timer feature. It's the first time I've ever seen it in a flashlight. Kind of an interesting feature. So when you have the light turned on, if you double click, you'll see it blink like that, and it blinked twice, so that means it's going to be on a timer for 9 minutes. So after 9 minutes, this light is going to turn off. If we double click again, it's going to flash twice. Sorry, I guess we had it only once before. So it was in 3 minutes before, and then that quick little double flash, that's what the 9 minutes is. So you can choose between 3 minutes and 9 minutes where the light is going to turn off. If you don't activate that, it's just going to stay on until you turn it off or until the battery dies. But it's kind of a nice feature. You know, I didn't really understand it at first, and I was asking some people, and they're like, yeah, well, you set it as a lamp when you walk into a room or you're working on a task or something like that, and you don't want to leave the light on. It's kind of an interesting feature. You don't have to use it if you don't want it, but it's kind of neat. Definitely a unique feature that they included in this. So you've got the 3-minute timer and the 9-minute timer. All right, let's go over the interface again real quick. So press and hold from off, and it'll go into that lowest output of the 0.5 lumens. Double click from off, it'll go to the max of the 500 lumens. And then just a single press will go into the output that you had it in last. And just to show you, we'll go into a medium, then turn it off, turn it back on. It does have a mode memory. So when you do the single press, that's going to be whatever you had it in last, assuming you don't do the press and hold or double click. And then press and hold to cycle through your other outputs. Click 3 times to go into the strobe. And then when you have it in regular illumination, double click, and then double click again to switch between the 2 different timers. All right, so that is the interface and everything of the Olight S1 Baton. Again, I love this light. It's a great little light. I can't find anything wrong with it. The only thing I can think is that if you just don't like CR123 batteries, if you're just stuck on AA's or something like that, then yeah, maybe go with a different light. But other than that, it's an awesome little light. And there are a lot of advantages to using CR123 batteries, assuming you're in a place where you can get them easily. You've got the magnetic tail cap, you got that nice pocket clip, you got the cool PVD, the blue PVD accents. You've got that nice soft side switch with a really good interface. You got the TIR optic, which I haven't really shown you yet, but you'll see when I go outside how nice that is. 500 lumens on max output, all the way down to 0.5 lumens. And I've said this a lot, but it's really small. It's kind of hard to show you how small this thing is in a video. You know, I showed you the other lights and I showed you the battery and everything. But until you get this thing in your hands, you're like, wow, this is really small. It's really light. It puts out 500 lumens. It's just an awesome little light. There are very few things that we can sell or that we do sell that I can say that, yes, you should get this. But I'm saying for the Olight S1 Baton, yes, you should get this. It's a great light. I can recommend it to everybody. It makes a great gift. It makes a great EDC. It's just a great little light. So I'm done with my spiel. I know I'm the one selling this light to you. But you have to keep in mind that we sell a lot of different flashlights. And if you've watched my other videos, how many times have you heard me say that? I say it very, very little because there are very few lights that I can just wholesale recommend, like the Olight S1 Baton. Anyway, we're going to go and take this outside. Let me show you how it does outside. All right, so we're outside with the S1. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use as a control. Let's go ahead and try out that mag light and see what it does. So there's a little tree about 30 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake is about 100 feet away. Let's see how the mag light does. All right, let's go ahead and try out that Olight S1. Here it goes. So you see what I mean about the beam. Very smooth, clean, even, very spread out. No really pronounced bright part in the center. It's all pretty uniform. So shine it around so you can see 30 feet away, sliding up stuff really well. Even 100 feet away, we're going to zoom in down there just so you can see what things look like down there. But you can see that whole area is lit up really well, and it's a really wide area. So with a lot of the flashlights we have, especially the smaller ones, and definitely the larger ones, you know, if you look at my other videos, you're lighting up only a small part of the dock house down there, and it's kind of nice to get this nice wide uniform lighting. So it's not going to do any crazy distance, but for 100 feet, and you'll see in a little while that it'll do beyond 100 feet. Let me show you the other levels real quick. So you can cycle through those, see what those look like. And just so you can see the moonlight, good for up close kind of stuff. So my hand is about 3 feet away from the flashlight. You can see it's lit up really well, so you'll be able to read stuff, you'll be able to see the ground in front of you, and then when you need it, you got that max output of the 500 lumens. Really cool little light. Alright, let's go ahead and try out a longer distance. Alright, we got some more distance to try out the S1. We'll see what it can do. Boat right there is about 20 feet away. Got a couple targets set up out there. First one is at 50 yards. Second one is at 100 yards. You can kind of see the second one. See if I can get my finger in there in the frame without, there we go. Second one is right about there. That's going to be about the top distance of this light. And then the tree line beyond is at 130 yards. But you can see it makes it out to the 100 yards okay. You can definitely see the lighter colors out there. You know, you're not going to do any huge distances with this thing. Definitely check out the Olight Javelot series if you want to do some crazy distances. But pretty admirable for such a compact, tiny little single CR123 light. This little guy is putting out all those lumens and that really nice wide beam that just lights up a wide area with that clean, uniform amount of light, which I really, really like, especially for up close kind of stuff. But you can see, makes it out to 50 yards. Those signs are out there at about 65 yards. Makes it out to those really well too. So lighter colors out to about 100 yards you're going to be able to see really well, and pretty much anything out to about 50-60 yards. So there you go. That is the Olight S1 Baton. If you like it, you can buy it from me at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments, or any of my guys at goinggear.com. If you like the video, please subscribe. Do a lot of gear and flashlight videos. As always, get going and start something. Thanks for watching.